This is the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast with your host, Kevin Murray.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast. On this episode, we have such an incredibly talented guest. She's a graphic designer. She's hosted countless podcasts, and she is a fantasy football analyst that's just about as awesome as it gets. From Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life, it's Samantha Holt. Thank you for joining me, Sam.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me, Kev. I don't think I've done your show yet, so I'm just honored to be a part of your many list of amazing guests. You have incredible people on your show, so thank you for slumming it with me for a night.
Well, no, it's an absolute privilege to have you on. I'm excited to have you here. You're great. I think the world of you. So yeah. So I mean, we obviously just came from Scott Fish Bowl a few weeks ago.
Oh my gosh,
down
yes.
in LA. We did that together there. How was your experience with that?
Oh, I love Scott Fish Bowl. I mean, I've been doing it now for, I think this was my third or fourth year and second live draft. And the live draft element just takes it to such another level, getting to be surrounded by so many amazing people in the space, getting to meet so many new people. And the friendships I've just gotten stronger over the years. So every year is just so much fun.
Yeah, I know it was a special event. Obviously, Trophy Smack knows how to do it. So,
they
and the
do.
people down there. I was attracted to that draft because I thought, gosh, there's so many great people down at that LA draft. So it was a privilege for me to get down there and experience that with you guys.
No, for sure. Like, I love that even people traveled to get to the LA draft like yourself. It's just, it was something about the energy of that one that people wanted to be at.
Yeah, there was a lot of mileage for sure. A lot of people that came across the country for that. So, and then obviously we got the Fantasy Football Expo coming up this week, Canton, Ohio. You attended that for the first time last year, I believe. So
Yep.
What was your experience like with that? And then what are you looking forward to most for this year?
Well, I mean, last year I got to meet you in person, so that was super fun. And love that we're just, stamping our passport and getting to hang out with each other every year more and more. So that's great. But no, what I love about Canton and the Expo is, again, just another great opportunity to meet up with people in the space, to connect, network, and just get to share stories together in person in another way that we never really get to do in season. I mean, we're all trapped behind our computers as soon as, the first kickoff goes. Super excited for just getting to see everybody again and getting to network. And I'm excited that this year they're going to be doing a Queen's Classic that I get to draft in. So super excited for that all women's draft. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people excited for the Queen's Classic, so that'll be fun to see how that goes. Now, you grew up in California. Let's rewind back to when did you develop a passion for sports?
I think my passions for sports has come from as a child. I mean, I was never very gifted in sports, but my brother is an insane athlete and grew up playing every single sport. So went with the family to watch every game and every practice and everything for him. And there's just something about this tie to sports that I have because of him that I get super passionate about it and super competitive. He didn't play football. He played pretty much every other sport, but I got into football watching the Steelers. My dad's a Steelers fan. And once I got into college, this world of fantasy football opened up to me through my friends. And they said, do you want to play? And I'm like, well, if I get to watch more football, that's got to be more fun. And as soon as I got into it, it was just this rabbit hole of every year wanting to know more. I got so entranced by fantasy and all that it helped open up in terms of the world of football to me, because now I'm not one-sided. I wasn't just looking at one team and have one goal and one thing. There was so much more, and I got to appreciate the players on a different level, appreciate the schemes, appreciate what GMs are doing to build a team, and every rookie draft getting more excited about new talent. So it spidered out for me from there.
That's amazing. So tell me about your how you connected with the ESPN Fantasy Focus team several years ago. What was that experience like? What happened with that?
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So that was back in the day when I think they still do it too, where they had their like the man's league type of situation. But the year that I met up with them, they were doing a women's league as well, and they had so many women sign up. They had 2 women's leagues. Now I did terrible in that league, which we'll leave that aside for a second, but the communication with them, with everyone from the show, was so much fun, and I was connecting a lot with different talent across the Matthew's Fantasy Life app, and was talking with Matthew a little bit, and he said, and Field and Daniel, and they said, hey, if you're ever in Connecticut, let us know and you can come out and visit. And I was like, well, I'm only going to come by if I just go there for a visit. So I just picked a date and they said yes, and I got to go out there and visit them, which was insanely fun. And that also just added another level for me of finding more love for the fantasy space and a different level of seeing what they do in person, getting to watch them do a show, getting to tour the campus. It just opened up another level of these people are getting to live this dream job, and you can make a career out of all of this and all that work that goes into it, and this beautiful craft that they have, and the final output of the shows and different things. It just got me so much more excited about trying to delve further into the space.
Yeah, no, I remember those days. I remember seeing pictures of you out there, and obviously it hit me a lot because I had that experience with the Commissioner of the Year deal, going out to Bristol and meeting everybody. So I had kind of a similar experience with meeting so many great people, and with the ESPN fantasy team, there was just so many amazing people, and it was so, obviously you kind of have a lot of expectations when you meet these people, and you're going to go out there. But they were such good people, and it definitely hit me. So I can see why it has inspired you to get more involved. So with that, when did you decide to start doing fantasy content?
I think it was probably the same year that I went out and did that first trip. I was obviously posting more and more on Twitter and talking more on the apps, on the Fantasy Life app. And then I had someone reach out to me and say, "Hey, would you mind writing an article? Have you ever thought about writing?" And I said, "Never thought about it, but absolutely would love to." So I started writing a couple articles a season, and following season, I did another couple for the Fantasy Authority. And then after a while, they asked me to come on as a guest on their show. And once I was a guest on their show, a couple other shows asked me to be a guest. And then I hooked up with the guys at Fantasy Focused and had my fantasy debate show with Derek, who you know. And it just, every year, it was just another level kept hitting of either writing more, doing more shows. And then last season, I was able to hook up with the guys over at Fantasy Life and start doing some illustrations for them. And then from there, do more graphic design work for them, as well as jump onto my AMP show last year I did with Elliot Christ, which was so much fun.
That's what I was gonna say. Professionally, it's so cool how you're an illustrator, graphic designer with that background. You can obviously share more about that art background and graphics background. But it's so cool how that's led to your current role as an illustrator and graphic designer for Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life. I love how that has all come together.
Yes, actually all the worlds finally colliding. Cause yeah, my career is in art. I've been a graphic designer for, oh my God, I'm gonna age myself, maybe like 15 years. I'm now an associate art director for a health and fitness company. And it's what I do for my 9 to 5. And after hours, it's football and more graphics and more fun and more analysis. And I have a problem with working. I love working, apparently. If I if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do so much of it, but I something about being busy with all these things. I need a lot to hold my interest, and it just keeps me excited every year.
That's great. I love it. I can totally understand that. What's your experience been like with the Fantasy Life team? Such an incredible team, so much momentum building there. I love to see it.
No, I know. It really feels like you're walking into, and this is going to be a bit much, but really feels like you're walking into this room of like Avengers. Like there's so many heavy hitters across the entire team that when you're in a group chat and people are talking back and forth, you're just like, it's great take after support. Everyone's so supportive of each other and so funny. Everyone's so funny. So to be in these group chats with such amazingly talented people that are putting out great content, it just feels great to be in the room with them, and get to share that space and also get to just continue to promote what amazing content and work they're all doing. They've stepped it up this year with how many new tools are on the site, the content, the betting content that's coming out. It's just next level. So it's just a really fun group to be a part of.
That's cool. I love it. Love to see it. So, hey, let's dive into some rapid fire questions. I'll just
Sure.
throw out some questions. First things that come to mind. Let me
Sounds
know.
good. Okay.
What do you love most about fantasy football?
Um, the competition and that it's always ever changing. Like every season you think you get it and there's another something that falls, something that happens, and you have to adapt. So the ability for you as a player of the game to adapt is huge. And I think that those that are really good at it are 2 steps ahead of what's going to be the change this season. So I love just the nuances and how you always have to adapt.
That's great. That's great. Name a person in the fantasy industry that you would love to watch a game with just to hear their insight and perspective on the game.
Oh, who would I love to watch a game with in this industry? Oh my God, there's so many. I hate that you're making me pick just one. But I'm gonna say Field Yates. I've gotten to meet him a couple times, and he's an insanely cool guy, so much fun. But he looks at the game a little bit differently, in the way that he schemes and the way he has a scouting eye as well. I just think it would be really fun to sit with him and chat about it.
That's great. That's great. Tell me about this turtle that I saw knocking over a barbecue on your Instagram the other day.
Oh, yes. So I'm babysitting my parents' tortoise while they're out of town. And it's a big tortoise. It's about like this, literally like a full hug,
Yeah.
round. His name is Tortellini, and he just likes to move stuff. I think he likes that he's so strong because he'll just move furniture around the backyard. When he's at my parents' house, he'll knock the lawn chairs into the pool. He'll move their bar. He'll move the barbecue. They actually had to jerry rig the barbecue so that he couldn't get to it because he kept walking by and accidentally turning on the gas line. I'm just like, this thing is a menace. Like he doesn't sit still. So yeah, for tortoises being slow and all these different things. Oh no, he's smart and he's really, really strong. Like, and he's faster than you think so too.
It's pretty impressive for sure. Name a few people that have had a massive impact on you during your journey in the fantasy industry.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, I can't start a sentence like that without saying Matthew Barry himself. I mean, he's just been so encouraging. And even from the first time I got to meet him in person or the first time I got to interact with him online, just such an encouraging person to be in your corner. I mean, if you had to pick anyone to be in your corner for anything, he's got to be at the top of the list because so supportive of women in the space and creating opportunities and making sure that he leaves no question unanswered. He's just a very thoughtful person. So he's been amazing. Other people in the space that have had such an impact on me, I'll say my former co-host Derek Tate has made a huge impact on me too. And he's now with PFN, so super excited for him. But he's my longest standing co-host on a show, and every year he challenged me and also encouraged me when I was thinking, you have that imposter syndrome all of us get mid-season. We're like, why, how am I doing this? How is my content any different? But he's always very encouraging about continuing to be myself and be genuine and be honest in the space. So that's definitely been huge. So yeah, Matthew,
That's
Derek,
great.
so many other people though. So many. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
lucky to be surrounded by so many amazing friends in this space nowadays as well.
I love it. So you've previously competed in a fitness competition. What did you learn the most while training and preparing for something like that?
I think I learned a lot about myself in terms of perseverance and willpower. I think some of us kind of run into different things when we're going through any journey. Can I do this? Can I set this goal? And can I reach these limits? Can I set these limits on myself to meet this goal? And I just learned that I can achieve anything that I set my mind to because I set my mind to a very specific goal. In order to hit that goal, I had to do so many things, not just have to do 3-a-day workouts, sometimes 4, the amount of eating and proper eating that I had to do, just hitting all these different scheduled things to just hit the final goal. I had to do that all perfectly to finally make that goal. And when I did, it was very rewarding to know that all that hard work worked and paid off. And so sometimes I think in other projects, it's hard to see when the work is going to pay off, but you still have to do the hard work in order to get there. So whatever that may be, I think it just taught me that my willpower and perseverance are stronger than I believed that they were. If I
That's a
just
great.
believe in myself to do it, then I could do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great message. I love it. What's your most memorable home fantasy football league experience?
Oh, well, I will say I have a league that I talk about a lot that has been a longstanding fantasy league. It's the league that originally started when I was in college, it adapted, and then we became a dynasty keeper league. We do and have done destination drafts for a very long time now. I think our first draft destination one was in Vegas. One of our most extravagant was a cruise to the Bahamas. We've just done so many different amazing trips with this league. And so maybe one of my best experiences would have to be at any of those destination drafts. The Bahamas one was really sick. We actually rented out a conference room in the middle of this cruise, which who's doing a conference on one of these cruises, honestly.
Yeah.
But we booked out this room that was so professional looking. It just literally looked like a board meeting for brokers would be in there. And we were just all there. They had the chairs set up for like a big speech was going to happen. And all of us were just creating little forts out of these chairs so that no one could see behind each other. So it was just this amazing amount of, okay, we're going to unadult this room and turn it into a draft fortress. And that was insanely fun.
That's awesome. That's next level. I mean, destination drafts, I feel like that should be on everybody's bucket list if you haven't done something like that. I was going to ask about what's a great live fantasy football draft, but if you're drafting on a cruise ship.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was, we do definitely take our draft weekends to another level. So there's always an itinerary. So this year it's going to be in San Diego. So there's already an itinerary and lots of fun stuff for us to do. But no, we definitely like to take it to the next level because the whole point of fantasy football, to me at least, in the base level, is to have fun with friends and have this camaraderie of, sportsmanship, of competition just between your good friends. And if you don't get to have that trash talk moment with your friend about your team beating theirs or sniping someone and getting their pick, what's the point of it all if you're not getting to have fun first?
Yeah, I mean, that is the foundation to me. So I 100% agree. Did you guys do any like last place punishments or anything like that?
I don't know if I can say it on your show. I'm gonna try and be as vague and specific at the same time as like possible. We
That's
do
fair.
have a loser's trophy. And I think on it says something like, you're the biggest disappointment or absolute failure. It's like something just demoralizing. That's what it says on the plaque. But it is a wooden trophy base. And all I can describe the top part as is it would have to be blurred out if it was on camera for anything. It's incredibly phallic. 1 year, the person that lost actually had to bring it with them while we were out for night drinking, and they had to carry it with them to the bar and order drinks for people.
Oh
So
man.
just imagine this thing
Yeah.
being held by our poor league mate, and she had to go up and order drinks with this, and it's just, yeah, it was pretty bad. And then if you do lose and win it, it has to be on display prominently in the home, so that we do hold people accountable for that.
I think that gets the job done for sure.
Yeah, no, you definitely just have this giant thing in your living room that you don't want there, and you have to explain to people. Yeah, thankfully, knock on wood, I have not received that disturbing trophy.
That's amazing. You have obviously done a lot when it comes to creating content. You've been at it for several years now. What advice do you have for aspiring fantasy football analysts, people that are looking to create content in fantasy space?
When you're starting out, I think you can second guess your place and wonder if you deserve a seat at the table. And all I can say to that is you just need to start making content. It doesn't matter if you feel like, oh, well, this take wasn't good, or we all have bad takes. We all have good takes. We sometimes have misses that are really bad, and we sometimes have hits that are awesome. But what you have to start doing at the beginning is just start making content. So if you're nervous or scared to, start on a blank page for writing, or scared to hit record on that video, just do it. Got to pull off the Band-Aid. You just got to start making stuff, because the only way you're going to get better is by getting the reps in. I mean, the only way I got better at writing was continually writing. It's still not great. I still am working on it really hard every season. But when it comes to video and podcasting, I only get better the more reps that I do. So, and I think that you'd probably agree with that too. The more you have the habit of doing something, you're going to get better at it. Just like any other skill, you just have to take those steps and you will continue to grow.
Perfect advice. Now, as for actual football, can you name a quarterback when you have drafts coming up? So obviously it's August, it's draft season. Things are coming down the line here. Name a quarterback that you're hoping to come away with in most of your drafts.
I do love in 2 QB formats grabbing Anthony Richardson, because I think that his rushing floor is going to be amazing this year. So I'm really excited to get him, especially in a dynasty format. So if you guys are out there starting a dynasty league this year, I think this is a really fun class to start that with, him specifically. Other quarterbacks I'm trying to grab, I'm not scared of grabbing Aaron Rodgers because you can get him late. And I think that though he doesn't have the mobility, let's say you waited on quarterback in a 2 QB league and you ended up with Rodgers and Anthony Richardson, you're going to get the rushing upside from Anthony, and you're going to get a lot of great consistency out of Rodgers in terms of the throwing game. So I think that there's definitely good players to grab out there late if you're waiting on QB. But of course, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to grab a Josh Allen if I can in the first time.
Sure.
No,
but that's right. Yeah, I agree. I agree that Rodgers and Richardson would be a great duo to get towards the end of the draft. You can get them, and I think that'd be a good.
You can get them.
You got the stability. You got the upside. I like it.
Yep.
How about a couple running backs that you're looking to run away with a couple drafts?
A couple running backs I'm looking to run away with. Well, if I can grab Bijan Robinson, obviously I want to make sure I can grab him. The way he's going in drafts right now is, he's going in a top 3 pick, which I think is well deserved. I had my rookie draft with that same league that I mentioned earlier. I had my rookie draft today, and I actually got him at the 101, so I was very excited to get him.
Nice.
So stash him away for the season, very selfishly. But other running backs, I guess, that I'm excited for. I think that there's a lot of great value in backs like Nick Chubb. You can get him a bit later right now. You can get James Conner on a really good discount. And I think that he's a great option because there's just so little that's going to be happening in Arizona. It's just offense is going to have to run through him and Marquise Brown. So I just think, there's a lot of great value with him. And then, Deuce Vaughn is interesting to me because the way that he's looking in Cowboys practice, I think that he's going to be better than people anticipate. And I think it's because he's being underestimated because obviously his size, he's so small. But when you watch him through practice, it's really hard for people to get a handle on him because of his size. And I just wonder if, the question mark of can Tony Pollard carry for the entire season? I don't know that he can, only because they run the ball so hard. So he's going to take a lot of hits and dings, and they're going to have to hand it off a little bit. So I'm just curious to see if he ends up being more of a spark for them in the backfield than we're all anticipating.
Yeah, obviously, if they don't add another back, he might have a role. So, how about a couple wide receivers that you'd love to get in a draft coming up?
Definitely. I'm trying to think of I got Marvin Mims today as well. He was another rookie that I grabbed today. Excited because obviously they're dealing with injuries over there in Denver, and he's going to have a huge opportunity to fill in the blank, which I'm super excited about and loved where I got him as well. Calvin Ridley, I cannot wait to see him. And I've tried to grab in a couple leagues just because obviously he's a year removed from sport. But if you've watched any of the tape, he has not slowed down in the slightest. So I cannot wait to see what he can do for Trevor Lawrence and having that connection. I mean, obviously Lawrence took a big step up last year. That offense took a big leap forward as they needed to. But even one more year, I think in this new system with a veteran like Ridley, who has amazing hands, insane speed, I think he's going to make Trevor Lawrence more deadly in the fantasy space, especially because with that speed and him being able to hit that target, I think is going to be huge for his game and open up the Jags offense quite a bit.
I like it. How about a tight end?
Oh, I am trying my hardest to get Darren Waller everywhere that I can. I got him in Scott Fishbowl, and I was very excited about that, obviously, with the tight end premium. He's going to be the number 1 receiver for the Giants because I can't name another receiver on the Giants, even though that would get me excited, let alone be tempted to draft. So I'm just excited to see what he's going to be able to do there with Daniel Jones. And obviously now that Saquon's re-signed, then you kind of know what this offense is going to look like more securely. And I feel like Waller's got a huge opportunity.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, I mean, he's definitely going to be the guy. How about your Steelers? What are your expectations for the Steelers coming up? And Kenny Pickett, what do you think about him?
Year 2, it can only get better. It can only go up from here. No, I'm excited. Obviously, huge Steelers fan. We definitely worked really hard this offseason to improve the offensive line. So that'll be amazing for Najee Harris, who I love so deeply. So anything we can do to help protect him, make him more efficient. Excited for Jaylen Warren. I think, with this improved line and then being able to scheme more and use Najee in the passing game, Warren could get used and get more run. So excited for him as well. And I think people are discounting Deontay quite a bit He's fallen so far in ADP. I think he's quite a steal. So definitely another receiver actually that I add to my list that I want to make sure that I grab if I can. And then obviously I love my George Pickens. So can't wait to see him connect more with Pickett as well.
I love it. No, it's definitely better days ahead for the Steelers. So it's got to get. I'm sure that gets you excited.
So excited. So excited.
Awesome. Well, Sam, is there anything we haven't covered that you want to that you'd like to share before we close things out?
No, I don't think so. I mean, just in terms of drafting, I just love that the whole space has shifted so much more to Superflex, and that has become kind of the standard. That is now really the bread and butter for all of my leagues that I do. I can't stand being in a standard league anymore. Just something about the points is just so disappointing to me. So I absolutely love it. And I know that a lot of people are always asking like, well, how do I get in a dynasty league? How do I start one up? Just reach out to people in your friend group and just start them, because they're so much fun, and you can add so many of your own custom rules and really make it fit your group of friends. Like how I've done with my friends. We have a super flex lead that's half point PPR. It's full IDP. So we have 6 individual defensive players positions that we fill out as well. And it's salary, it's keeper. Because the bench is so deep, I take 10 keepers plus 3 rookie keepers, and I still have to fill out the whole roster. And it's always tough every year. So I just love how you can make it so complicated. And that to me makes it more fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. Anytime you can add more wrinkles into a league, it definitely gets things exciting and something that I think a lot of times people need. You're right. People do get more bored with standard leagues and whatnot. So spicing it up is always a good thing. I think that, I think it's nice to have, kind of a standard set league, but then have other leagues where you dabble in other settings just to get exposed to more things, right?
No, 100%. I mean, that's how I think we grow in the space and how we grow as, fantasy managers. You have to challenge yourself every year. And I mean, even today I was just mock drafting from different spots just to get the reps in of different practice and seeing what teams came out so that I could be like, all right, well, I don't want that to happen. So how do we fix that for next time? And just making those adjustments, I think is so much fun.
And as humans too, right? I mean, you of all people, right? You dabble in a lot of different things, and I think that's a good trait to have. It allows you to grow as a person. I love it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that that's the only way we can keep growing as people, is like challenging ourselves. Because if we feel comfortable, then you're not going to be growing or changing or adding or helping. I love that all the things I do, though it's a lot and I don't really sleep very much, and that's totally fine. I can sleep later. But I just love that it constantly challenges me to grow as a person, and by extension, as a friend, as a family member. It just, everything is working towards being better at all these categories.
Well, it's very inspiring. I love to hear it. Tell the listeners where they can find you all across different social media channels and what you have in store for 2023.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for having me. And you guys can find me over on Twitter at Samantha R. Holt and on Instagram at Sam_awesome. You can find my illustrations and graphics over on the amazing Fantasy Life site. So please go over there and check it out. If you haven't yet, sign up for the newsletter because it comes out daily. And as we gear up going into the season, there's going to be so much more content. And check out all the tools on the site. There is literally, it feels like a new tool almost every day over there. New rankings, new articles, new content. So if you're thirsting for more in terms of how to win your draft, please head over to fantasylife.com.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining me, Sam. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Canton next week, or this coming up weekend. So can't believe it's that time, but it is. So we're here, and we'll see you in Canton. And best of luck this year, 2023, and all you're going to do with the Fantasy Life team.
Thank you so much. And thanks again for having me. See you in Canton.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast. Until next time, be sure to follow and subscribe to all of FFU's social media accounts for daily content.